So I really wanted to post this video because I needed to give you guys the scientific information as to why females are literally the prize. So in the beginning, when God created the earth, he created man first. He created Adam. Now, if you guys haven't read Genesis, I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis. God was giving Adam different animals because he was looking for a helper. And he said, okay, is this one good enough? Is this one good enough? And God was like, none of these. So he made Adam go to sleep and he took a rib out and he said, okay, now I'm going to make this a woman because you need a helper. He literally gifted the man with the woman. Now, we have different things that we can do that the man cannot do and vice versa. But we are there to assist and help the man. We are literally a gift to them. So anytime I hear somebody saying, the man is the prize, the man is the prize. No, we're literally the prize. That's why in the scripture, it says, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. A man who finds a wife is blessed by God. You guys have to understand that. A woman was literally gifted to you by the Lord. We're your helpers.
If men say they want to talk about men's rights, how many women are willing to hear that?
About 2%.
So then can we conclude that women don't really care about men's feelings?
If we're talking stereotypically, I would say that is correct.
I don't think that's a fair conclusion because of the power struggle that we go through, but I think that both parties could be more willing to listen. I think the frustration comes when women are trying to talk about women's issues and then men are like, well, what about men? When they didn't even bring the conversation up.
Doesn't the opposite happen? When men talk about men's issues, women say, what about women?
Personally, I've never had a man bring it up on his own. It only ever comes up when a woman's talking about issues she faces.
With an upward inflection at the end of every sentence?
What do you mean you don't have a boyfriend? You're so pretty. What do you mean you have 0 men in your phone? What do you mean you've gone 8 months without... What do you mean? That makes no sense. Yeah, well, combine pretty with intelligent, strong, successful, slaying at life, you've got a very terrifying woman on your hands.
She certainly isn't very humble, is she? And then she's also kind of like dorky and quirky, which is just... Look, it's not seductive, it's not attractive, and she also smokes cigarettes, is a feminist, and has a chest tattoo.
The feminist echo chamber is alive and well, boys. At least when you ask the ladies how it's going. However, when you take a look at your own needs, as well as the needs of all men around you, it becomes apparent that there are a number of reasons why chicks like this are counting the months without comfort, aside from the fact that all that positive feedback came from women. Progressives might try and make the argument that we inhabit an echo chamber of our own, like the lady in the first clip. But if that were the case, we would refuse to examine what's going on in the first place. We've definitely taken a fair amount of time to stare into the woke abyss that is modern femininity and the causes behind it. It's just that we, in no way, find any of it appealing. As I've said in other Man Guide videos, men are quick to point out that our bare minimum is loyalty and accountability, 2 things the West is in woefully short supply. We want to make sure, and we insist, that anyone that we bring into our productive lives will share the same interests and march to the beat of our drum. Because, in essence, this is the only beat that will ensure prosperity in the future. Not just for us, but for our family and friends, the people we still value. In short, we desire an insurance plan that will deliver, which is what makes this kind of thing unacceptable. So before we go further with the video, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Joseph Stalin, who shared, "Hats off to a geezer who didn't pay for his girlfriend's friends and broke up with her after she refused to accept reality. Proper king." And that just goes to show the dating scene in the West is disastrous right now. So thank you for dropping a comment, and please do not forget to reach out to my email to claim your $5. As always, guys, I'll be picking one comment from each video. Could be the funniest, or the most liked, or just one that stuck out to me. So don't forget to leave a comment, and you could be our very next winner tomorrow. So be sure to hit that like and sub button too, as that helps out a ton. So now let's get right back into the video for you guys.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
It was today when I realized a pet peeve of mine is a grown-ass man saying, I wanted to see you, or I want to see you. Okay, what am I supposed to do with that information? What is that supposed to do for me? You want to see me? Oh, that's cute. I have Instagram, I have a website, I have TikTok, I have Facebook, I have Twitter, if you want to see me.
Toxic.
I am newly single, and I
have been single for 3 months and I chose to leave the man. I was going to get married. He was perfect on paper, but I walked away.
Why? Stupid.
Because I am very...
And this is why, like, yo, this is what I'm trying to say. Arranged marriages are a thing because women make bad decisions.
No, because I'm like you. I'm very picky and I know what I want. And it's like, although someone's maybe perfect for me on paper and yeah, he treats me like a princess and things like that, there's things that I need. And if that person doesn't have it...
You're 29.
Yeah, so...
Can you be a bit specific?
Yeah, it's like, person was a people pleaser.
What?
Like, not just with me, but with like the family, his friends. It was like the people around him. He was just...
He's a nice guy.
He's a really nice guy.
Born for the wall, guys. That part we can see from a mile away. Men are decisive. That's the takeaway here. There's a reason women taking 30 minutes to pick an entree is the meme that has stuck around for decades. For us, seeing time as a precious resource is not just something we're trained to accept, but it's a habit that's woven into our DNA. It doesn't matter if a guy is a salt-of-the-earth construction worker or a wolf looking for opportunities in the stock market. The same software is present all over the spectrum. Why? Because if it wasn't, we sink. If it is, we manage to swim to the next proverbial island and make it another day. Women, on the other hand, can confront pressure about as well as a lump of cheese can withstand a butter knife. Speaking of sinking, the same kind of thought can be applied to the procedure following a ship that's been punctured irreparably. We don't just let women and children go first because we're naturally self-sacrificial. Sure, that's a part of it, but it's also because chicks turn into headless chickens in the wake of a crisis. They're just not equipped with the systematic skills to move quickly and make key decisions. I think the point often made about arranged marriages, as it's mentioned here, is one of the most effective talking points when speaking with feminists, to reinforce this undeniable flaw in Western relationship building. Where places like the US have a 40 to 60% divorce rate, arranged marriages, in deep contrast, only hold a 4% divorce rate, which tells you everything you need to know about female bandwidth. Giving women a hand on the wheel removes all possible masculine insurance plans that include dating and marriage, because now you've cut logic in half to satisfy arbitrary cultural wants, instead of focusing on what culture actually needs. Case and point.
When I hear a man talking about how, you know, he only goes 50-50 with a woman and he don't want to pay for nails and it's too expensive and in this economy, how could I and why should I? I'm thankful when they have girlfriends because that just means you are not on my radar for dating.
You don't hear this conversation from men who have their shit together. You hear this conversation from men with the dangly earrings wearing Chelsea boots and
I like
fedoras.
the dangly earrings.
Not me, baby. Is a epitome of a sassy man.
Get a job?
I don't know where you're getting your stats, lady, but nobody you're looking for is looking for a thirst trap with a camera at the bar. While the needs Western women have are completely lost on everyone, including their own peers, the masculine requirements, for what I've been referring to as insurance, are more aligned than ever before. Over the last decade, opinions have been globalized and syndicated. Men have used this to find international jobs, share immutable truths and values, and have a few laughs along the way. Then, when you look at how modern women interact with the internet, the reason for this growing chasm becomes obvious. LonelyFans, lifestyle, and keeping up with the Joneses vlogs, divorce plays, and feminist rallying cries are just a few of the myriad of nonsensical crap chicks have done with the most effective tool humanity's made since the hammer. Put simply, men embrace change, and the innovations that come with it, while women do, well, what women do, try to make things best serve their ego. Like this gem.
These are icks. Handlebar mustaches, long toenails. I just thought of one. Driving out of a parking ramp and can't figure out how to pay.
When his card gets declined.
So you're single?
Single. Well, here's something interesting. When they do surveys among divorced couples and the woman initiates the divorce, one of the top reasons she always gives is she feels like, right? They never say I think, they say I feel like he didn't do enough for me. right? It's like the number one thing. And I think that we give women like a totally overblown expectation that men are supposed to like serve us or be doing. He wasn't emotionally taking care of me usually means like I wanted him to anticipate that I want him to do a bunch of shit that he would never think about that I would want him to do and stuff like that. So
feelings. It always comes down to feelings. If you look at society and how men deal with their emotions, there's almost always a catalyst to handle them. Monks have meditation. Angsty high school dudes have a sport. The list goes on and on. Otherwise, many of us would have punched out more people than we could count. Long ago, we understood that there was a time and place for such things. And if there wasn't, we did everything in our power to allow them to pass us by. Feminism and the modern women who promote it always try and identify many of these outlets as examples of toxic masculinity. They'll say that male force and drive have no place in sophisticated civilization, as if we didn't make the damn wheel. But when you look at the way these chicks deal with their problems, the argument just goes right out the window. Cheating, theft, tantrums, and recording for these clips, just to name a few. In other words, women are inclined to act on every emotion or hunch that pops up in their heads. It doesn't matter if the thought is intrusive and unfounded. It's why reality TV producers never struggle to find an aging broad ready to throw wine in someone's face. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. With no cultural barriers to prevent this, in a Western environment full of unhinged women with no consequences, fidelity isn't ever on the menu for men when they're looking for a future wife. Instead, we see this.
Men don't like loud women.
Women don't even like men! And guess what? Bubblegum in a dish. Half these men have shrimp dicks. I'm not worried about it, bitch.
What?
I suppose the asylum will take the child back.
I had an ex, yeah, and he was very toxic, so.
Can you please tell us how he was toxic?
He brought his religion too much to our relationship. I feel like I'm a person that it's very ongoing, and he used to be very shy, so he used to like tell me, don't wear this, don't try to go out, don't do this, and...
That's toxic?
Yeah, for me, it's toxic.
Honestly, that doesn't sound toxic to me. That sounds like having boundaries and not wanting his girl to be a slut.
He was a man of God.
Like, ladies, why is it like I find it amazing how girls get in a relationship with a guy. The guy puts in boundaries. I don't want you to dress a certain way. I don't want you to go to the club. I don't want you to do certain behaviors.
Go to therapy.
That might hurt our relationship because I'm the one that's providing for you, loving for you, willing to die for you, right? Yet you want to go out and advertise yourself to other men, but that's considered toxic.
A yes, toxic is another overused and misused term in the endless and faulty female lexicon. Again, there's been a revolution among men in the modern world for the better. You go to the gym and see Gen Z guys working hard to strengthen faith and discipline. Even today, I walked over and saw a young lad doing dips with a rosary hanging out of his pocket. Sometimes I see a mishaba, but the concept remains the same. And yet, so many progressives will take one look at that and proceed to mock these men for seeking internal and physical balance, all while they sit there 50 pounds overweight with a Chinese character tattoo on their neck. That means something like pizza pocket in Mandarin. Western women are starved of spiritual strength, but they'll never admit to it. They'll go the other way and try to stomp on the only tried and true institutions that portrays morality as best they can, running to structures as infantile and unstable as the government to help them in their quest to purge the world of masculine traditions. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't found a clip of feminists acting like Butters in South Park preaching in a US DMV. With such moral disparity, is it any wonder that more and more men stay single or travel overseas? Of course not. In most cities, the pickings for the ideal women are slim to non-existent. In fact, you're more likely to see something like this than what your great-great-grandpa received a century ago.
For richer?
For richer.
For poor?
For poorer.
Yeah. We hit that snag about 20 times in counseling. To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling.
He's toast.
That's why I don't like men who like know their worth. Like, I hate y'all. I hate men who know their worth. They be like, I don't gotta deal with girls. I know my worth. I got my. For men was just like dinner and. But now y'all want to be like having real deep conversations and. Y'all want to be like asking out what you do. I do. Trying to cut this off like, no, I don't got time for the drama, or you toxic. I hate when they say to me, you toxic. So what's up? What you doing tomorrow? Who teaching you all that shit? For real, who teaching you all that shit?
Teaching us what?
Y'all worth. I don't like that.
We know you don't, because the end result doesn't include you. I've never met a real man who doesn't want basically the same thing as every other, the kind of loyalty that will make his friends proud, and to be able to build a successful life for his future children. Of course, there are other supportive elements that men need to achieve this. Some include a fulfilling career that they can reflect on, a house that they want to design themselves, or a community that shares the same set of characteristics they idolize since childhood. This is the insurance plan, the existential insurance that makes all men work as hard as they possibly can to achieve it. It binds, protects, and validates every facet of the male life worth living. Now, the Western woman, as we can see, holds none of the qualities to support that universal vision. They're more like a battering ram, or a wrecking ball, made out of a concentrated mass of insecurities compounded by social media and their cult ideology. Where we see masculine success, they see a threat or a challenge. In one of many ways, this is what proves feminism and the undateables that support it to be nothing more than a band of envious failures dedicated to bringing everything to its knees. For them, building and strengthening isn't progress, it's scorched earth and broken men that they cheer for. And if this is pointed out, it is quickly deemed a silly, ignorable insecurity.
Well, if a guy tells you, don't wear that shirt because when you go out, guys are going to see you. Why is he scared? Because he's looking at other girls wearing the same shit.
Exactly.
So whatever your man is insecure about or doesn't want you doing or blames you for doing even though you're not doing it, you're not the problem. He's scared that you're going to do what he's doing to you.
Yeah.
So that would, okay.
Yeah.
You're the ones with the problems.
And you even do it today. You take every single shot that you possibly can at everything about me. And it's like, like you didn't highlight every other gentleman as that such. Like, what about me? I don't think that there was one perfect man that you seen on the show, but you decide to speak on every little thing about this one man. Like, I feel like it's corny because you keep constantly trying to reach out to me after the show. So I honestly feel like, you try to play this.
She reached out after the show. What are y'all saying? Hey.
It's corny because you attacking me as a person. That's who I am, bro. Like, I came on the show, it's who I am, and you telling me that everything about me you don't like. But then outside of the show, you want to have a conversation or a hug or a smile in my face or hey, Daryl, or it's a us. It ain't no us thing.
Us.
The reason why me and you had a viral clip is because I handle myself well. I very well could have been looked at as a sassy or an evil man if I would have gave you the response that you deserved. But I gave you what I felt like it needed to be presented because a lot of young men get tricked out of their spot dealing with young women like yourself. And I don't want to be the crash out example. I want an example that no matter what, you could still be able to hold.
Perhaps the craziest part of all of this, the lack of insurance or assurance, the lack of modesty, and the lack of respect for themselves and others, is that this is often an act, in a role women constantly and consciously choose to play, even though they often know it's not in their best interest. Men choose their role in society every day, climbing the steps of adversity and taking the blows that come with it. We choose to be strong and considerate of our fellow neighbors in the trenches. Then, when it comes to women, they, when left to their own devices, choose to live a life steeped in misery, finding it easier to blame those who made something of themselves for their perpetual state of suffering. Ignorance is a damning drug. Make no mistake about it. One can make the choice to accept reality, but it's a hard pill to swallow. It takes serious self-awareness to get to the bottom of why you suffer, which is why most men do it as quickly as possible to progress. For decades, we basically gave Western women homework. The old systems in place made for an abundantly clear behavioral blueprint, an outline that would make everyone happier and content. But as is the case here, they didn't want it. They crumpled it up and threw it back at us, claiming that they needed a reset. So, now, here we are.
Someone asks, what do you bring to the table? I am the table!
Shut up, bitch.
Your soul is in your keeping alone. Even though those who presume to play you be kings or men of power, when you stand before God, you cannot say, but I was told by others to do thus, or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Remember that.
Baldwin IV, the Lepor King. What a movie. One of those cases where the actual history is even more incredible than what's portrayed on screen. Anyway, let's get to the core of this one here. Men, modern women are not an asset, they're a liability. They may scream about being the table or claim that their very existence deserves allegiance and respect, but I'm glad to say to all of you that got to the end of this video successfully dodged the ballistic ruse. You understand your worth, and every day is a victory when you refuse to let anyone take that away. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.